All right, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about something called the law of cosines. There are times you just can't use the law of sines, okay? In order to use the law of sines, we have to have a pair. And when I say that, I mean like if we have little c here, the opposite side or angle has to be filled in for us. On this triangle, you can see we have no pairs, a and 2, little b and 45, 4 and c. There's no pairs, so we cannot use law of sines. So instead we will use law of cosines. Now, the first thing I want to point out to you is degree mode. Make sure you are in degree mode. If you're not, hit mode, change it to degree mode, then second quit will get you out of that, okay? But I'm already in degree mode, but if not, hit mode, change it, then second quit gets you out, okay? Now, notice we have two different types of formulas. There's formulas to find a missing side or the formula to find a missing angle. Now, all three of these formulas are the exact same formula. It's just one is for A, one's for B, one's for C. So in this case, we are trying to solve for B. If you're missing a side, you have to find the side first. So we'll start with finding what B is. So to do this, we know B squared equals, and then it's always the other two sides squared and added together. So in this case, it'll be 2 squared plus 4 squared. Okay, we'll add those together. Then you're going to subtract 2 times those other two sides. Whoops, I guess I should put, doesn't really matter, but 2 times 4 times the cosine of whatever our angle is that's opposite the side we're finding. So 45. Now, when we get all of this, we will get what b squared equals. So then we'll have to take the square root of our answer to find what b is equal to. And it tells us we're going to round to the nearest tenths place. So if we go up here, we will start by doing 2 raised to the second plus 4 raised to the second minus 2 times 4 times the cosine of 45. Close the parenthesis, hit enter, and you should get 8.68. Continue. We're not done though. We need to take the square root of that. So second square root, second answer. We hit enter, and you should get 2.9 if we round to the nearest tenth. Now, the reason this is important is now that we have a side, we are able to figure out what the other angles are that are missing. It doesn't matter which one we find first, A or C, but I usually go in alphabetical order, so let's find A. Now you'll notice these formulas in this box are to find a missing angle. There's 3 of them, but they are all these formulas from above just manipulated. Do you see how cosine of A ends up by itself? Cosine of A was right here. If we would add that to the other side, then subtract the A squared over, resulting in B squared plus C squared minus A squared. But then if we had added this whole thing over, we'd have to divide by 2BC. We do that, we divide by 2BC, and we are left with what cosine of A is. Okay, so for this one, we'll do the cosine of A equals, now B squared plus C squared minus A squared. So in our case, B squared plus C squared minus A squared. So the other two sides that are not opposite of A, so opposite of A is 2. So we'll do 4 squared plus 2.9 squared, and then minus whatever's opposite. So in our case, 2 squared. Put that in parentheses, divided by, now the bottom needs to be in parentheses 2. 2 times that 4 times 2.9. So we take our calculator, make sure you put parentheses, then 4 raised to the second, plus 2.9 raised to the second, minus 2 raised to the second. All of that divided by, now on the bottom, make sure you close it in parentheses, or order of operations will screw up your answer. 2 times 4 times 2.9, we close it, hit enter, and we're not quite done. We got to take the inverse cosine of that. So second cosine, second answer, close your parenthesis, hit enter, and you will get 28.4 degrees. So we did the inverse cosine of whatever our answer was, and we get A to be 28.4 degrees. Now we're almost done. The last angle is much easier to find. Think back to geometry. We know that every triangle, the three angles add up to 180. So we already had 45. We just got 28.4. Add those up. It's 73.4. Take that from 180. And we'll get 106.6 degrees. That is what angle C is. Now, on to the next one. If we look at this next one, you'll notice we are given three sides. It says 48 inches, 26 inches, 43 inches. So three sides. Now we could draw a picture if we wanted, but there's really no reason because we have all the information right here. Now, if we look, which of these are we going to use? We are finding a missing angle. So we need to use this formula. We are finding C, so we'll use the bottom one. Now, you always add together the two that are not opposite of the angle you're finding. So in this case, 48 and 26. So if I write this, cosine of C equals, and we know it's going to be 48 squared plus 26 squared minus 43 squared. All of that divided by, and then on the bottom, remember it's 2 times 26 times 43. Or sorry, I misspoke, times 48. The two that we are not opposite of. So once again, start off, parenthesis, the 48 raised to the second plus the 26 raised to the second minus 43 raised to the second. All that divided by 2 times 26 times 48. Close the parenthesis, hit enter. We are almost done. We got to hit second cosine, second answer. Close the parenthesis, hit enter. We will get 63.1 degrees. All right. Now the next one might give some of you trouble because you'll think EFG, it doesn't have ABC. It's the same process. Just think for finding angle F, then little f is the one that has to go get subtracted at the end, and it's also the one that does not end up on the bottom. So cosine of F, follow the same rules. 8.9 squared plus 2.2 squared minus 7.7 squared. All of that divided by, on the bottom, it's always 2 times those first two. So 8.9 times 2.2. And then we'll take the inverse cosine of that and find what F equals. So 8.9 raised to the second plus 2.2 raised to the second minus that 7.7 raised to the second divided by, and then it's 2 times 8.9 times 2.2. Now that's in our answer. We got to hit second cosine, second answer, close it, and hit enter. And as you can see, if we round the nearest whole number, 51 degrees. Okay, almost done. This last one. It's talking about me. It says, I'm standing in my neighborhood and I throw a frisbee. So let's start. I am right here. Okay, I throw a frisbee 60 feet to house A. I then turn 65 degrees and throw a frisbee 40 feet to house B. The question is, how far apart are A and B? So we're wanting to know how far A to B is. And another question to ask is, are we finding a side or an angle? Hopefully you know we are looking for this little side x. What is it? Okay, so x squared will equal, follow that formula you had up above, right? We just square each of those sides we do have minus 2 times those two sides times the cosine of the angle. So 40 squared plus 60 squared minus 2 times 40 times 60 times the cosine of 65. Don't forget though then, whatever we get, we'll have to take the square root of that answer to find what x equals. So 40 raised to the second, 40 raised to the second plus 60 raised to the second minus 2 times 40 times 60 times the cosine of 65. That's not our answer though. We remember second square root, second answer, and we get 56 feet. All right, that is all I have for you today. If you have questions, let me know. Remember, test is coming up soon, so please reach out if you need help. Hope you have a great day.